Well, ladies and gentlemen, as an artist, I have so many different inspirations, so many different things that I look to inspire me whenever, or just as muses to get me in an artistic mood, to make me want to be artistically driven and just want to create things. One of those was actually like an early inspiration that basically like pushed my artistic journey straight into the next level was Akira Toriyama and Dragon Ball and just the world building that he did with his art. And today we are going to watch him draw Goku. I'm gonna give a reaction to that. I'll talk a little bit about it, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's jump straight to Toriyama drawing Goku. Hold the phone. It's your boy. I just wanted to let you know real quick before you continue the video that this video is sponsored by me. I just wanted to let you guys know that your boy right here has a website. Here it is in all of its glory, revoart.com. That's REVXart.com. You can support me by getting an art print right here if you so incline. I have 4 different options for you. If you want a sketch, if you want line art, black and white, fully colored, totally up to you. And you can also get some exclusive merchandise. Check out that sick hat. Check out that incredible shirt. And check out that amazing hoodie. And if you're a member of the website, not only can you get these products, but you get a 10% discount. That's right, 10% off of anything from the website from just being a member. And if you don't want to do any of this stuff, but you want to support your boy, donations/tips are welcome. So just friendly reminder that I do have a website, and you can go to it now if you go to revoart.com. All right, here we go. He's just using a marker too. This is crazy. I could draw their hair first. Interesting. It's so I don't like the noise of the marker, but it's so seamless. He said less work. You gotta love the honesty from Toriyama.
マジックで描く場合はペンと違って方向を気にしなくていいんで描きやすいですけど味わいはないですね。ドラゴンボール。
ドラゴンボール。
完成しちゃいました。
ありがとうございます。
Wow.
ポイントを一つ言うとしたらどこですかね。
ポイントはね、輪郭かな。でも何回も書いてるんですけど失敗することも結構あります。ちょっとのバランスの違いで。
Little imbalances here and there. Minor mistake on this one is the hair overlapping the eyes.
かぶっちゃったとこかな。でもまだうまく描けた方です。
I mean, the thing that's crazy about this is seeing the way. So there's a couple points I want to talk about here. So first of all, I just want to point out the fact that there is no sketch work to this. He's going straight into the line work with the pen, and he's using a marker too. And sometimes there's so much like indecision when you're an artist, and I'm sure a lot of you artists will relate to this. Sometimes when you're drawing, there's a lot of indecision going on, and you need that sketch layer to make sure that what you're putting out there, you're decisive about it. You know what you're going to be drawing, you know what you're going to be illustrating and finishing in the ink stage. The ink stage usually is like later on. So the fact that I see not just Toriyama but a lot of mangaka, what it's interesting is they will go for these sketches that end up looking really really good straight to the inking. And even if they skip, like a good example is Horikoshi from My Hero Academia. He doesn't ink some of his art. He just literally, it's just the sketch work. And you can tell that there is nothing pre the sketch work. He just put it down and laid it down on paper. And that just goes to show you how many hours these people put in to be so decisive with every single stroke that they're putting down on paper. Now, one of the things I want to talk about was the way that, so his process. So he went and straight away did the hair for Goku. So a lot of people, what they'll tell you online, and if you study like how to draw anatomy books and things of that nature, they'll do the circle thing, make sure to do the little thing. This boy just jumped straight in. Okay, there's his way to do it is with the hair first. He thinks it's easier to pinpoint the eyes from the hair, but that's not what conventional. That's not conventional. A lot of people make you do the outline, like I said, a sketch work underneath this. But this is the beauty of art. Once you get some experience, once you are able to feel a little more comfortable with the pen that you're using, or just in general any pen that you have in your hand, is you're able to put things down on paper, or not really. And I've done this challenge here on different like occasions here on off camera, where I would draw something and just not do a sketch, just go straight with inking, just to see where my brain processing is at. Because honestly, if I can make an image anatomically slightly correct and fool you and make you as a person that's viewing the art piece think that everything is in place perfect and correct, then I've got a good grasp of where I'm, my artistic placement of things. And I know that, well, I don't got to sketch. The sketch doesn't have to be perfect because I know where things are. The sketch is just there so I don't forget. That's the point where I'm at. A lot of times people will use the sketch as end all be all, and a lot of times that is the case. Especially when you're working also in the comic book industry, not manga. With the comic book industry, you really need that sketch work to be final, and the main reason for that is a lot of times it's a team that works on a different title, i.e. Batman. That's just an example, but where the sketch person, that's, they want to keep an integrity of their art so that the person that's inking on top of it at least follows not 80 to 90% of it. They could still add their own little flair, be like, well, I'm gonna change the cross hatching on this section. I'm gonna add a little bit different. Every inker is different as well. That's the beauty of art, is everybody adds their own little touch and flair to it. But seeing these mangaka, they skip that and they go straight into the inking, and a lot of times their sketch work looks just phenomenal. And Toriyama, obviously, this is a little bit later in his career where he started doing a lot more simplistic work with Dragon Ball, a lot less angular, a lot more round. What's interesting is just like how he's not pausing a lot of times to do this. It's just seamless, doing it. Now I don't like this noise here, so I'm gonna skip a little bit. Another part that I wanted to talk about here that I found really, really interesting was he draws the hair, right? I don't need to fill anything with black ink. So this is classic Toriyama. He's finding a little loopholes here and there. So that was the theme with the Super Saiyan, is he didn't have to color it in black because the Super Saiyan's a golden hair, so it's like white. Which is funny, a lot of times people will say he's lazy, but then if you look at his work in like Sandland, if you look at his work in Dragon Quest, if you look at his work at Blue Dragon, it's very detailed. don't get it twisted. Just because Toriyama's cutting corners don't mean that he wasn't very detailed. Also, just his understanding of the space that his art takes place, he's a very good at being spatially aware of that, and that's a talent that's very difficult for artists to have. Now, there's a couple points I want to make here where he
マジック
taught.
で描く場合は
So here we go. When drawing with a marker pen, you don't need to think about the direction of your stroke like you do with a regular pen. So this is actually a really, really profound point, because when you are doing with the marker pen, you're aware that the line work is going to be a little bit thicker, whereas when you're doing with a normal pen, like a normal ink pen, you can control the line variety a little bit more, where with the marker pen it's more, it's a little difficult to have that like very slim going to like a very thick stroke. It's very difficult to have that. Most of the time you're just going to get what Toriyama is doing here is just the one consecutive stroke thickness, whereas a regular pen you can control it a little bit more, and you have to, and there's a lot more thought that's involved with it, because you're just like, do I want this stroke to just be the same, the same thickness, or do I want to make it a lot less thick to accentuate maybe space, maybe depth within the image? But with the marker pen, you kind of just, that goes out the window. You just draw, and sometimes you get some magic.
ペンと違って方向を気にしなくていいんで
But that's the trick, though, is having that mentality of not thinking about it too much and just letting the pen do the work. A lot of times it's very difficult to get to that point because, like I said, for artists, it's very difficult sometimes to even just ignore the sketch work and go straight into inking. But for this particular like method of sketching with the marker, it eliminates that thought process in your mind. So I would suggest actually for you guys to draw something with a marker and try to see if you can make something convincing with a marker based on, just using that form of line work. And then go back to a regular pen and see if you can just not think too much, because like I said, there's nothing wrong with having, intentional strokes and intentional thought process behind the art piece. But a lot of times the best art comes from when you're just in the zone and you're not overthinking it.
描きやすいですけど味わいはないですね
And I respect him as well for acknowledging the fact that it's easier for all the reasons that I said just now, but he also is very aware that because it's such a simple, way to draw with a marker, the art itself is inherently going to look flatter because of it. So the fact that he's aware of that makes you, this is not, Toriyama was, oh man, respect to the GOAT. Rest in peace, man. The GOAT. But yeah, man. But yeah, it's so awesome to see like mangaka like Toriyama draw, because it really gives you a perspective as to what the experience and the years of just illustrating certain characters gives you in terms of freedom of artistic ability, and the way that you're able to just put things down on paper and not fully overly complicate things. Sometimes, characters are inherently more complicated and things of that nature. I mean, there's plenty of artists that have to think about certain like dress, like robe, like, what I mean? The way that their characters look. But sometimes, the simplicity and being able to find the smaller details in that simplicity, that's what can really elevate an art piece even more. Because if you already have that basis, that simplicity basis of being able to just put pen on paper and not think about it and make an art piece from that, you're then later able to take that to the next level and add even more detail to make it even greater. And it's just a basic thing, but sometimes it's actually a very difficult thing for some artists to grasp and some artists to fully master. Some people say they know how to do it, and they genuinely don't. You'll just give them a pen and be like, just draw. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, well, wait, I need a minute. But if it was a gun to your head and they were like, you have to draw something nice right now, you know, majority of artists are not going to be able to do what Toriyama just did, gun to your head. So it's respectable. It's honestly admirable. And like I said, art challenge for artists is to definitely take a piece of paper blank, do not sketch anything, think about just real quick what you want to draw, and then just draw it with a pen. Don't even think about it, just go straight pen on paper. It's terrifying, especially if it's your first time doing it, but I guarantee you'll be fairly satisfied with the growth that you will get. Because if it's your first time, it's going to turn out bad. It's going to turn out not that good, but that's why you got to keep doing it until you get to a point where you're like, okay, wow, I'm at a different level of mastery of the pen. And so, yeah, I could go on and on about like the way that, you know, Toriyama's art was. I could probably go on and on about the specific other things. This is just me breaking down his process with literally just a sketch, and that it's incredible what you're able to see visually when you break it down like that, and the little nuances that not nuances, but like little tidbits that he threw in there, like, hey, I start with the hair, and I start with and I'm using a marker, and I'm aware that this is going to be a little bit flatter, but it's a lot easier for me to do. It also allows me not to really think about it, and I just get to sketch. All those things probably go over the head of most people, and it's probably like, oh, that's neat. But like as an artist, you could do classes on just those little things that he just said, because it really encompasses a bigger structure of being an artist and understanding art and getting your art to the next level. So I definitely recommend people to watch other artists or mangaka draw, because it's honestly humbling. For me, I'm just looking at it as an artist and like, wow, it's incredible, man. And that's the type of stuff that I want to do, and I want to push myself to be able to do that stuff so that I don't have to think about it and I can just draw. But like I said, man, that art challenge, go ahead and try it if you're an artist. If you enjoy me reacting to mangaka art or mangaka draw, let me know down in the comment section below. Let me know if you want me to break down even more videos, maybe Masashi Kishimoto, Oda. There's plenty of mangaka that do these videos, and it would definitely be fun to break it down and talk about the understanding of art itself. I love art. As an artist, I could talk about it for days. So like I said, let me know down in the comment section below if you would love to see that. If not, I'm going to be signing off, and hopefully I can bring you guys some actual art of me drawing here on the channel. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later.